Welcome everyone, and thank you very much for coming today, even though it's such a raw day out here, but we are thrilled. I represent NCTV. My name is Jill Hindley Lawrence, and we're thrilled to be here to dedicate the honorary bench for Jack McFeeley. And at the conclusion of our little program here in the gazebo, we're going to all walk over and unveil the bench and let the family check it out and have the first sit on the new bench. So before we get started with the program that we have with a few speakers, I'd like to first bring up State Senator Richard Ross, and he has a special citation to present.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing me to go out of order. Jackie, we go back a long way. I was sharing with others, Jack was my first opponent when I ran for state rep back in the beginning of time. And even though he didn't make that goal, and I did, he still went on to become the town administrator of my hometown of Rentham. And he served there with distinction. And he certainly had always given back from his heart, public service, and doing things good for other people. And I really appreciate it. And I got to know you quite a bit through the school and everything else. And your family has been such a piece of Norfolk history, and to have a piece of Jack remembered here in a bench that's being dedicated in his honor here on this town green, which he loved, Town Hill. I'm glad that you people are going to see this come to fruition, so congratulations. I did take the time to get a citation from the House and Senate. Representative Dooley's here as well. We're giving a joint citation on the Massachusetts State Senate official citation, be it known, the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends congratulations to the McFeeley family in recognition of the dedication of an honorary bench in memory of Jack McFeeley in the center of Norfolk. And be it further known, the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its best wishes for continued success. This citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate through me to you. So congratulations, and hopefully this warms you up on this raw day as well a little bit. I can't believe how quickly the weather's changing, but we had a wonderful fall, we had a wonderful summer, we had a great spring, and I can't tell you how grateful I am to be here today. This beautiful Town Hill is, look at the condition it's in. The grass looks like it's still middle of summer, and the town does such a great job making sure it's always kept up so well. So I'm going to come over and give you a hug and present this to you. And then unfortunately, I need to move along. I have a couple of other things today, and I just want to make sure I personally came here today for you. And thank you, Jack. Coming down again. Thanks.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to, before we go our first speaker, to officially welcome Jackie McFeeley, her daughter Christine, her son John, and the rest of the McFeeley family. We're so glad you're here. And we just adore Jack at NCTV. So that brings me to our first speaker today. It's Pamela Ruby Russell, and she is the president of the board of directors at Norfolk Community TV. Pamela.
Hello. Yes, my name is Pamela Ruby Russell, and I'm a little nervous because this is the first time I've spoken to my neighbors and friends of Norfolk. As president of the board of directors of Norfolk's Community Access TV, I feel humbled standing here before you, attempting to fill the large shoes of John Jack McFeeley, our past NCTV president, Norfolk's own, an incredibly capable, kind, and generous citizen, the ultimate people person. On behalf of our board, the employees, members of NCTV, as well as the Lions Club of Norfolk, I respectfully welcome Jack McFeeley's wife, his beloved, and your extended family. You, his friends and associates, those who are here with us today, who had the privilege of working and playing with Jack over his many years of public service, thank you and welcome. As Jill mentioned, we will have several speakers, and then we'll walk over to the memorial bench and gather at the Tramp House for light refreshment and some music by Kai Olson from Franklin. I want to begin by reading to you the quote that we chose for Jack's memorial bench. It is from The Little Prince, which is pretty special. It is the time you have wasted for your rose that makes your rose so important. This is a ceremony of dedication, remembrance, and gratitude. The gifts we share together today come to us by honoring the exquisite life of Jack McFeeley and are encapsulated in that sweet little quote. The placement of Jack's memorial bench has significant meaning and purpose. I don't remember which one of us on the NCTV board suggested a bench here on the Hill. We were shocked and saddened at his loss, and it seemed like the right thing to do, to find a way to recognize and honor his dedication and commitment to those he cared for and served so generously. It may have been Herb Morris or myself, but we all unanimously agreed that the bench had to overlook the clock. Jack's clock, in a place where people could sit and relax in the shadow of a tree near the sweet roses and our town's historic Tramp House. I believe there are only 5 Tramp Houses still in existence in Massachusetts, and ours used to be the town jail. And later, it gave shelter to the homeless and the transient individuals, those in need of safety and caring. Knowing that Jack had such a love of people and history, perhaps we did find the perfect place for his bench. I had the pleasure of speaking with Joyce Theriault, who served with Jack on our Board of Selectmen for 5 years out of his 3 terms of service. According to Joyce, may I quote you? As the Board of Selectmen and town planners worked on redeveloping and planning our new center, Jack, the planner, and the project guy par excellence also explored what other towns had in their town centers. Medfield had a large clock. So Jack was convinced. I see you smiling over there. Norfolk had to have their own clock. He strongly advocated, but not just for any clock. From just the short but lovely time that I got to work with Jack on NCTV's board of directors as his vice president, I learned Jack McFeeley was a force of nature. He got the job done. So there's our town clock. And now, overlooking it is the specially designed memorial bench created by Svensson Granite Works from Medway, a fine granite bench that will last long into the future. I would like to thank our Public Works Department for providing us with a sturdy granite base. I would also like to recognize and thank the Norfolk Lions Club, whose contribution to the creation of Jack's bench helped make it possible. Our board of directors, as well as Katie Woodhams, our executive director, spent a great many hours making this day a reality. Between Herb Morris, Jill Hindley Lawrence, and myself, our Jack's Bench subcommittee, as well as the entire NCTV board of directors and the Norfolk Lions Club, we are happy to finally present our endeavor, a labor of love, to you. We do hope that Jack's family and friends will find solace and comfort in knowing that his place in the development and history of Norfolk will never be forgotten. Like the granite bench we now dedicate, Jack McFeeley was a solid, forthright, sturdy, and ethical human being, an honest and loving family man, a citizen and a servant to the community, and a good friend to all. I was going to talk about his history, his childhood in Brooklyn, and his position on the Board of Selectmen, how he helped oversee the building of the senior center, passed the Community Preservation Act, which provided affordable housing and recreation. Joyce Theriault said, I couldn't ask for a better person on the board to work with. He was just very instrumental in getting a lot of things done. I adored him. I think a lot of people here feel the same. According to Chronicle staff member Stephen Peterson, who held Jack in very high esteem, Jack's 3 terms on the Norfolk Board of Selectmen, as well as taking on the position of town administrator when needed, helped spur him to apply and be appointed to the same position in Rentham, and he was essential to both towns. To quote Jack's obituary, since I couldn't say this any more succinctly, Jack McFeeley was a rock and a moral compass to his family. He provided inspiration and guidance whenever needed, and he loved spending time with his family and friends. Here is my secret. It's quite simple. One sees clearly only with the heart. Anything essential is invisible to the eyes. Also from The Little Prince. I wish I had more time to get to know and learn from Jack. Perhaps we have all felt that way at times in our lives. He was encouraging, inspiring, and generous. Perhaps when people are taken from us, in Jack's case far too soon, a part of them remains in our hearts and minds, their essence crystallized, a powerful memory that becomes part of us. An example of a life well lived, in kindness, attention to detail and ethics, and more than enough joy to share. Jack's greatest gift, in my humble opinion, for the short time that I worked with him and got to know him as much as I could, Jack's greatest gift, in my humble opinion, was his generosity of spirit. Jack McFeeley will continue to be a role model to be emulated. His was a life most certainly to be celebrated, so let's celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. It was beautiful. Our next speaker today is Lions Club member Jerry St Amand. He is a former president of the Norfolk Lions, the longest serving member of the Lions to date, and he knew Jack well because Jack McFeeley was also a president of the Norfolk Lions. So we welcome Jerry.
Thank you, Jill, Jackie, Jay, Christine. It's good to see you. I tried to think about, they asked me to talk about Jack, and I said, I started thinking about it. And I said, yeah, I've known Jack for so many, many years. We were members of the Lions Club for over 30 years together. We were in town government forever together. So what did we do together? Not a damn thing. It is hard to imagine that we crossed paths and collaborated on so many things, but I don't ever remember us doing anything on the same committee or the same board or whatever. When he was a selectman from 81 to 84, he was so committed. I mean, just to show you his commitment, to become selectman that year, it cost him a baby grand piano.
I told him if he wanted, I'd buy him one.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, when his term was over, he called me up and said, Jerry, it's time for you to run for selectman. And that's in the history books. When I got off the board, he went back on the board. When Jack passed just a short time ago, Jack went being from the longest terms, the senior member of the Lions Club, promoting me to the senior member. Not exactly what I wanted, but it is what it is. Jack was president of the Lions Club in '77. I was asked once, what did he have to do with the soccer program? Did he because the soccer program is something that's very lasting in the town, and it's been ongoing. And I tried a little bit to find out about it. Now I'm told that it was Mark Polino's idea. If anybody knows who Mark Polino is, I think he still lives in town. But Jack was president from 77 to 78. And the program started in the fall of 78. So I have to conclude that Jack was very instrumental in making the soccer program a viable program in this town. I know a lot of other Lions were as well, but I'm sure Jack, knowing Jack, because Jack never did anything halfway, right? He never did anything halfway. I'm sure before he got married to Jackie, he probably had a dossier 2 inches thick, figuring out just exactly what it was. Jack didn't stop with the Lions at that point. He continued on. He was probably had the 100% pin more years in a row than probably any other member. But in 1989, we were having some little difficulties. The club was entering a little difficult period for whatever reason I don't remember, but we were having a little difficulty. And Jack became president again, and he helped pull it through that rough age and turning it into now, it's a extremely viable club with over 100 members. So, and I think you see a lot of the things that get done in town, none of which I do, but what all these people back here do, because they do all the work. As a selectman, Jack was always, I don't think anybody worked harder at any of the jobs that he had than Jack. He knew every piece of data, he knew it inside out, and I think anybody who ever dealt with him knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you had it wrong, Marion's shaking her head yes, you probably had minutes that were corrected down to the periods and dots over I's. But anyway, Jack was very meticulous and very, very detailed. But one of the things that I know he did, and that's why this bench being up here is also, I didn't know he had so much to do with the clock, because I kind of haven't been paying 100% attention at that point. These circles are nice. I'm sure Jack had something to do with these circles too.
He did. Oh, yeah.
But the thing I don't think anybody knows is the town hall. Now, Jack really didn't have anything to do with the town hall. But Jack was on this little hush secret committee, one of those things that he and I didn't do together, but we collaborated on, where Jack actually worked on the grant process out of the prison expansion grants, so that we were awarded $1.5 million of funding to build that town hall. So I think the bench being up here is very convenient for him to be able to, besides looking at his clock, he can also admire the town hall that he was instrumental in helping us do. I think this is very good that we put this here. I'm proud that the Lions Club has given the money to do this, and as a Lions Club, we're happy about doing it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry. Yes, make sure that it's important to know that the bench is a joint venture of Norfolk Community TV and the Norfolk Lions Club. So thank you to all the Lions. It's what Jerry pointed out. It just struck me as amazing that as we sit here on this town hill in this little town in Massachusetts, you can look around and see how many different things that Jack McFeeley touched in his time here with the clock and the town hall, as Jerry told us, as well as the 2 traffic circles. What an impact that he had on this town, and we're so proud that he lived here. Next up to say a few words is our own fire chief in Norfolk, Cole Bushnell.
Thank you so much. I'm here this morning on behalf of all of public safety, Deputy Chief John Carroll is with me here this morning. John, thank you very much for coming out. Certainly want to thank the Norfolk Community TV and the Lions Club for putting this day together, and certainly to Jackie and the McFeeley family. I think this is a very special outreach. Just to echo on some of the words that Pamela had said earlier, the lasting legacy of Jack. I think each and every time that you hear the siren wail going through the center of town or through some of the back roads, the people will be responding. Not only the police department, will be the Norfolk Fire Department paramedics, who Jack was instrumental in bringing to the town. And today we have two of them here. We have Manny and Seth in the back. These were two people who were hired right after Jack was involved in bringing ALS to Norfolk. And they're a testament to the type of individual that you have available to respond 24 hours a day, 7 days a week here. I think reflecting back on Jack, one word I can always think of is gregarious. Jack was the most gregarious person I've ever met. I would also say that if you want to cast aspersions on Jack, you can certainly use me as your deflecting point. Jack was the selectman when you hired a Yankee fan in 2004 to come to be your fire chief, so that always goes hand in hand with Jack. One of the things I just want to do this morning is just share a letter that was penned to the Sun Chronicle shortly after Jack's passing. It was a privilege to send that on, and I just want to share that again here today. The passing of Jack McFeeley certainly invokes many memories. First, Jack was a member of the Norfolk Board of Selectmen who hired me to lead the community's fire department in 2004. A Yankee fan from Connecticut, so now you know who to blame. It was easy to see that Jack had passion for Norfolk. If you like conversation, any conversation, Jack was your man. The stories he could tell from his professional and family life always seemingly had a singular theme of honesty. Secondly, those close to Norfolk's government know that Jack had the moniker of the godfather of Norfolk's advanced life support system. Coming to Norfolk, Jack explained my first mission was to bring ALS to the fire department, a true daunting task given Jack's frugal fiscal posture. However, during the summer of 2004, the fire department responded to a critically ill patient, an off-duty Norfolk police officer, who required immediate ALS care. Resources were unavailable that day, and our ambulance raced the patient with a police escort to the hospital. After the incident, I met with Jack and basically vented my frustration of the department and our need to bring ALS to Norfolk as soon as possible. Jack unveiled a plan to use the media to move the problem to the forefront for discussion. He also then, with Fire Lieutenant Peter Petruchik, started to develop a plan along with my second dad, Jim Lehan, selectman, and at that time, Jack Hathaway, the town administrator. Further, he pointed the department to residents who believed he would be supportive. Finally, at the fall town meeting, the meeting was held, the vote passed unanimously, and in February 2005, almost 9 years to the day of Jack's passing, Norfolk started ALS. In fact, the first day of service, a patient in severe diabetic distress was saved by Norfolk's firefighter paramedics. Jack was honest, and he truly believed Norfolk needed ALS. He was honest that he wanted ALS provided in a manner that would be fiscally prudent and not a burden to our community. He was honest that he supported the program. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be ever at your back. Good journey, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Bushnell. And now I just wanted to, before we walk over to the bench, I wanted to open the floor to see if there was anyone who wanted to come up and share a story, or any family members. I didn't know if anyone wanted to share a quick story, or if we feel like we've we've done our job. We're good? Okay. All right. Well, we're just, again, so happy that you could all come out today. And I think what we'll do now is actually walk over. You want to walk over and give your final remarks over there. So we'll let Jackie lead the way and the family, and we'll walk over and unveil Jack McFeeley's honorary bench.
Let us end with a quote from the Greek philosopher Pericles, which seems so fitting on this occasion. What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. As we conclude this portion of our celebration, I ask you to please join Jackie McFeeley and her family as we view our memorial gift of love and respect for Jack and take to heart all that he shared and taught us. Let us remember him by remembering to ask ourselves sometimes, now, what would Jack do?